Here we go, guys. We have the second game on dual side between our two Terran players to the left side of the map in the red color once again. Starting 14 Slayers.
Slayers, Ryung.
Coming off of a win against another Terran in Heart, who actually beat Bomber before that, so...
And his opponent is again starting to the right side for OGS, none other than our blue player. Down one game.
OGS SuperNova.
He's definitely got to be feeling blue about the results of the last game. And gas first again for SuperNova, but no early SCV sent out this time to build any proxy buildings. So it looks like we're just going to see relatively normal play. And Ryung actually going for the barracks first. And no gas just yet. There's the gas, right as he gets 100. So he is going to be going for pretty normal stuff.
It's going to be interesting to see what exactly SuperNova has planned for this game, because he's now down one maps and he needs... If he's going to be aggressive right now, that would actually surprise me a little bit. But he's going for the gas first once again. Ryung played very well the last game, was able to defend against any incoming shenanigans. And he seems to have a very, very stable build that he's able to deal with everything. He is part of the Slayers team, and Slayers just has a ton of very good Terran players, so he has a lot of opportunity to practice his TVT. We obviously also have a good amount of Terran players in OGS, but I still think when he comes down to TVT, Team Slayers has there's so many great players. The coach that MMA has as well is probably going to help him out a bit. So
yes, indeed. We just saw both these players have a 50% win rate on this map, so I guess that's dead even. It's a bust. Anyway, Ryung goes in here and scouts SuperNova's base. He's like, all right, building your buildings in your base this time, eh? He did see the factory though, so he knows what's going on. The Marine couldn't quite get out fast enough to stop that scout.
SuperNova now going for his add-ons already, and in regards to the gas, he can start with the starport as soon as the factory has been completed. In Ryung's base, on the other hand, we have the factory building and he's going for the reactor add-on. So both of them are not heading for some kind of expansion play. We've seen on dual side quite often that some players will start with the one barracks expand, just leaving the main base for a while. And it looks like SuperNova is going for the blue flame.
Yeah, he's got to worry about these two Marines coming up his ramp though. He didn't build a second Marine because he built the tech lab on the barracks, so now he's in trouble here. He's having to pull out some SCVs. They trade SCVs, but now there's two Marines for Ryung, and second Marine's about to pop out. And the Hellion, so actually SuperNova gets away without too many losses.
Yeah, but the problem for SuperNova is not only that he lost a couple of Marines and that he lost the mining time. The main problem for him is going to be that right now his opponent is fully well aware that there is some kind of upgrade going on, and from the timing he can suspect that it's not going to be the siege tank upgrade, so Blue Flame Hellions are not a secret anymore. Ryung will be able to prepare for it in time. And we don't have a starport. He's now just building the starport, SuperNova that is, at the same time as he's building his command center. So even drop play is forced to start out of the question, and that's going to be a huge problem.
Yeah. Now Ryung, of course, is actually going for reactored Hellions. He's not getting the Blue Flame upgrade, but he's making a lot more of them. So even though there's going to be more damage being output by SuperNova's Hellions, Ryung is going to have more of them. He's actually getting concussive shells and Marauders as well, so this is going to be a pretty good composition against the Hellion Marine of SuperNova. Although actually SuperNova is getting, he's getting Reactor on his barracks, so he's going to be going for Blue Flame Hellions and Marines.
Yeah, and you're right, this is going to help him quite a lot.
And here he is trying to bust up into the base. Blue Flame is done. That's barely going to be enough to hold Ryung off.
Starport is done for Ryung now, and well, I'm eager to see what SuperNova has up his sleeve. Both of them are going for the orbital tech now at the command center, but as we already pointed out, the strategy of SuperNova has been revealed, and Ryung is now in a position where he does not have to be the initiator in this game, but he just has to react to whatever SuperNova is doing. He's a little bit ahead when he comes down to the Harvester supply with 26 to 23, and SuperNova now just trying to follow it up with the Cloak Banshee play. I'm not quite sure if I really like that. The first Viking is already building by Ryung, so If he's able to get the detection as well, then SuperNova will have blue flame Hellions that won't accomplish anything against the Marauders, and at the same time also a Banshee that won't stand a chance against his opponent's Vikings.
Yeah, here's some Marauders though leading the charge. They're going to do so well against those Hellions, and he's got Hellions of his own, and he's going into the supply line here. He could get a lot of SCV kills. SuperNova was reluctant to engage, but as a result, he's going to lose some SCVs as part of the battle. Let Ryung get into position.
Very well played by Ryung. He already killed like 10 Harvesters, and this early in the game, this is worth a lot. He scouted his opponent's strategy very well and made sure that he was able to put on the pressure. Those Marauders, they just helped a lot. He lost the Marauders, he lost a few of his Hellions, but at the same time, killing 10 SCVs is just awesome.
Yeah, Ryung is now ahead by 8 SCVs, 30 to 22, so he definitely has the economic advantage.
And he's already saturating 2 bases, exactly.
Very good point. Yeah, so interesting play there. The Vikings are already out for Ryung as well. Some counter pressure from SuperNova. The bunker isn't up yet. The Vikings are not going to get the last shot off on that Banshee. It's going to force another scan to kill it.
Yeah, he was a little bit too overeager in my opinion to scan the Banshee. He should have waited a second longer until the Vikings were in a better position, because now they missed the last shot and he had to sacrifice another. Whoa!
Oh, beautiful block just in time. He's going to land the Vikings.
Close.
Yes. And the tank is out as well. So the Hellions are trying to break down that depot, so they're going to die.
Brilliant play by Ryung. I really love what we are seeing here. He was just, he threw down this one supply depot in blink of an eye as soon as he realized that his opponent was heading to the main base with the blue flame Hellions. Job well done by Ryung.
Yeah, that was really, really cool.
And SuperNova is behind with 10 supply, is still lagging behind in his army supply, as harvester supply as well. Going for the mech style now with 2 additional factories. And, well, he can play mech a little bit more defensive and just try to sit tight on 2 bases, but Ryung is also already in a very, very good position. He's getting his tech up, and I'm a little bit afraid for SuperNova here.
Yes, indeed, although it does appear that Ryung is going to be going for mostly Marines. It's going to be getting siege tanks as well, probably, but Banshee's doing some damage. Does he have a... I don't think he has a scan right now. He does not have a scan for another 10 seconds. So he's just trying to basically punk this Banshee, make it think he has a scan, he's going to kill it. He's chasing it though. Is he going to scan and try and kill it? The scan is ready right now.
He should be able to get it.
I think with that Banshee on the move with only 3 Vikings, he can't quite kill it. So maybe he's just waiting for it to run out of energy, I think. Which it will do in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, that will happen.
Very smart move.
Will happen rather sooner than later.
That's really cool. He's actually able to watch the little...
Nice.
Oh no! It finally ran out of energy and he stopped chasing it. Oh. Well, that was disappointing. Some skirmishing going on in the middle of the map.
Yeah, pretty decent Marine split by Ryung, but SuperNova is now slowly but steadily pulling ahead a bit in overall supply. So we have both of them with siege tech. SuperNova a little bit faster this time than in the last game. One of the main problems that he had when engaging was that Ryung was already sieged up. But this time he is the one with the faster siege mode.
Yeah, siege mode's about to complete for SuperNova, but right now it doesn't matter. Neither player has siege mode. The tank trying to deal with the Hellions. Auto turret drop down. The blue flame Hellions are going to be able to deal with these Marines very easily though. And without any tanks left.
Vikings in assault mode, stronger than you'd think. But the Banshee, yep, the Banshee is gone, and if he... with the tank out, it's a completely different story. Double tank now, so the Vikings can't go into assault mode again to harass the mirror line.
And siege tech is just about to complete for Ryung as well, though. So he is going to be on even footing.
46 to 53 harvesters. SuperNova is actually pulling ahead right now. Both of them are trying to get another base a little bit faster. Ryung, obviously, the player for Team Slayers. And he is about to finish the +1 attack upgrade as well.
Oh, some Hellions get in. Are they going to get enough damage done, though? A couple shots taken there, and he does get just a couple SCVs.
I was kind of lucky. He could have killed a lot more SCVs. In total, they're even now with 10 to 10 SCV kills.
Yes, indeed. And yeah, this is really interesting. Normally, we'd see just Marine Tank, or we see just Mech, but we see just Bio. In this case, Ryung is actually going Marine Tank Marauder, and he's not spending all of his gas on tanks. He's actually getting some Marauders as well with that gas. But hold that thought. Look at this. We have a little bit of a technical difficulty. SuperNova is lagging out a little bit right now.
It would be quite unfortunate at the 50 mini mark. This is obviously a big deal. In overall supply, they are roughly tied with 98 against 103.
Yeah.
And, well, if I have a quick look at the production tab that we can still see here, we have +1 armor now being researched. Ryung is already on 1 attack, so he's getting more of a bioforce, while we have SuperNova with the with the mech play. And SuperNova now already getting the armory, so that he can start with his add-ons as well. Ryung is ahead with 1 command center. He's on 3 now. He didn't put the third one yet to the expansion at the bottom right, but at the same time SuperNova now trying to complete another command center on his own. So a slight advantage for Ryung.
I would say so as well.
SuperNova dropping out at this point in time would actually be a very, very bad thing.
Yeah, that'd be unfortunate. But you're right, I believe Ryung is ahead right now. He's got that third command center up and running, and the thing is SuperNova can't really do much about it at this point. He's playing the mech style, so he's not as mobile. He could try and harass with Hellions, but he can't actually attack.
Is there a drop about to start at the right side of the map?
Those are the Vikings.
The Vikings, okay.
Yeah, those are Vikings just running around. I think they killed, or were attacking SuperNova's floating barracks.
Ah, you're right. They followed it across the map.
Yeah. So we're going to try and find out what's going on here, but I think if we have to drop out, the game is so even right now, we would probably just start from the beginning is what I would imagine.
I think so, and apparently we are going to see the drop. They are just talking about it a little bit in the Observer chat, and it looks like we are going to have a regame. I'm not quite sure of it just yet.
Yeah, we'll try and get some more information for you for that pretty soon here.
Yeah, Ryung just joined the conversation as well. And whatever we do, he seems to be fine with it.
Trying to make out a little bit of the Korean that they're saying in the drop screen, but I don't understand quite enough of it to know what's going on. But oh wait, I think
how did they do that?
Magic. I guess the game might actually be resuming, so we're gonna possibly get back into the game here in a second, and that would be pretty cool. If we'd
I'm completely baffled right now. Every time
I've never seen that happen before. I've never seen it actually resume after the 0 mark.
It must be the
GOM
countdown.
He's actually a wizard.
Tech guy is really, really annoying. Every time you have a problem and they suddenly appear and it's just their aura and everything works again and you're like, how did he do that?
Yeah.
And this is exactly what just happened. He dropped down to 0. And we all expected the game to end and like, okay, we're probably going to see a rehost and everyone's fine with it. So, yeah, let's just shut the game again and suddenly it just continues.
It always happens when you try and show someone else. You're like, look, this isn't working. Look, see how it doesn't work? And when you try and show them that, it works?
Yeah.
And they're like,
Murphy's
what are you
Law.
talking about? Anyway, we have paused the game, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on still. But either way, we're going to resolve it here pretty soon since the game has resumed.
It would be brilliant if we can resume the game because there would 50 minutes in the game. It's always so annoying. I mean, if you drop after like 2 or 3 minutes, it's basically before the scouting happens, so it's kind of all right. But 50 minutes into the game, this is always a really, really bad situation, especially if it's a really important match.
Well, at least it's not a situation where one player has a lead and you have to make that call as far as, okay, well, do we reward them to win? Do we call it? That's always tough to try and make that decision.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, often a player will have a lead, but it won't be decisive. What's that? What did you say?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Well, a quick friendly shout out to Blizzard.
Oh. I understand. Yes, indeed.
We had the same problem at Assembly the last weekend, and I think MLG had a similar problem. Ran into some kind of a couple of disconnects, so that's always really, really annoying. But well, nothing we can do about it. I think there was some kind of an official statement by Blizzard why they don't include a LAN mode just yet. Was it because of... I'm not quite sure. I think there was, but I can't really remember it. Oh, and SuperNova has left the game, so it looks like we are going to see a regame after all.
He did finally drop.
Ah, this is unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. I did not know that they made an official statement if they had.
I think they did a while ago, and if I remember correctly, and I don't think I do, but I think at some point there was the argument that if you include a LAN mode, then you will open the doors to all kinds of potential hacks, so this is a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, theoretically. Anyway, yeah, if anyone out there knows if they've put out an official word, tweet me the link or tweet Caldor the link. We'll check it out at the break. But I'm pretty sure we're going to get into a regame here pretty soon.
Yeah, we should.
Between SuperNova and Ryung. And yeah, what do you think, by the way, about this style that we saw? Oh, there's the coaches, well, the Slayers coaches talking to one of our referees about the situation. Slayers coaches, of course, being Boxer and Sella. There's one of the other coaches talking with Ryung right now.
Yeah, I hope that everything works out. I was quite, yeah, every time I see Sella now I have to grin. The guys, they play soccer occasionally, and well, I really miss playing soccer, so I told him, okay, next time you play, invite me. And then he invited me and said, like, yeah, Slayers team is going to play. So I thought it was like just a friendly game, you know, with a couple of Slayers players, and that's about it. And then I arrived, and he's like, yeah, we're playing another team from another TV station today, and it's some kind of famous comedians and whatever. And by the way, this guy is playing for the national team in Japan or whatever. And I'm just standing there, I'm like, excuse me, what's happening right now? And he's like, yeah, and this guy is a tryout for one of the professional teams. And I'm like, what? So yeah, we play. And then they started to play a warm-up game. The warm-up game was two half times with 20 minutes each. This was the warm-up game.
Oh wow!
And I was like, "Jeez, I have to get out of here." So it was pretty cool. It was really cool. And so the Slayers team, we won, obviously.
Of course.
The comedians didn't stand a chance.
Of course.
And yeah, it was pretty cool. It was actually.
Did the Slayers team have the professional guys?
Well, both teams had.
Both teams had them?
Both teams had a couple of professionals and some Slayers players as well, so it was just a mixed team. But it was really funny, and yeah. So at first I was really pumped, and then Sella tells me all this stuff, like, yeah, and they're the strongest team in the league besides us. And I'm like, hey, I just came here to have a couple of hours of just a friendly soccer match, and now you tell me that I actually have to put some effort in it?
That's funny.
But it was really cool, because the first goal that we scored was a really nice combination of the Emperor himself and Sella, which was so cool.
That's
pretty really awesome. Funny.
That's pretty sweet.
Well,
let me know next time. I'll have to talk to Sella myself also, actually. That'd be pretty fun. I actually
it was pretty cool.
Played soccer a lot when I was in school, so
hey,
pretty sweet.
I'm German.
There you go. Guess what sport I played in college though?
Baseball or football?
Ultimate frisbee.
Okay.
That's what I played in college.
I was
on the college
playing
ultimate
frisbee
team for a year.
I didn't know that there were some kind of like professional frisbee teams, but a friend of mine in Germany started, and I think after uni he started to play frisbee. To me, it still has this really odd ring. I mean, for Americans,
it's an odd game.
Okay. Well, in Germany it was the first time that I heard about it, but I think in the US it's a little bit more common.
Yeah, it's actually like when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, that's kind of a silly thing. That'll be a fun thing to do for a little while, but it's actually a really serious game. That's it's kind of like football, but with the way it's played, but with a frisbee instead of a ball. It's kind of like football.
So I can tackle you.
It's kind of like American football. I should specify.
Okay.
No, there's no tackling involved.
So if you have the frisbee, I can just tackle you and kill you.
No.
So then it's not like football.
No. Except it's like football in the way it's played, in that you know the way that you have to run for long passes and that kind of thing. The way you try and juke your opponents, that sort of thing.
But I can't.
People are trying to block you from throwing it.
But
no, you can't tackle anyone. I'm sorry.
Boring.
You should start a new sport.
That was the first time.
Ultimate frisbee with combat involved.
Do you know Australian football?
We're actually getting a word here that SuperNova's computer is having some issues, so we're actually going to take a few more minutes to sort that out. So, Australian football.
Yeah, Australian football. You know that? Aussie rules
like
football? It's
No.
pretty cool. It's actually a really, really fast game, and you have to run like crazy. But the one thing that I did not get is you are actually not really allowed to tackle someone, and especially, well, you are. You are allowed to tackle. There are some vicious tackles, but there are some rules to it. So, if, for example, if there's a kick and you catch the ball, then you stand and you don't run. People are not allowed to tackle you.
Right.
You are not allowed to run, but you can make a throw, whatever.
Like Ultimate Frisbee.
Okay. But the first time I was watching one of these games, so one of the players kicks and another one catches the ball and stands there. And I'm still thinking, okay, this is probably a little bit like American football. So I'm standing there and shouting like crazy, kill that guy, tackle him, what are you doing? I was so angry with the other team because there were players all around him. I was like, this is awesome. The guy is just standing there. Take him down. He is begging for it. So just take him on. And nobody did anything. And at some point, finally, some Aussies turned around and like, they are not allowed to. And I was like, what? Why? It was really, really cool. So they started to explain the rules to me, but it's still a great sport, and I have a lot of respect for the Australian football players because they run like crazy without a break.
You know
it
who
is
I have
insane.
you know I have a lot of respect for is rugby football players.
That's a sport
Do you know
really
much
don't
about
like.
rugby?
Yeah, I think that I'm sorry, I know that I will get a lot of hate for it. I think rugby is so boring to watch. It is unbelievable. And I guess I mean both rugby.
Well, I didn't say it was necessarily that interesting to watch for me personally, but I definitely have respect for the players. It's pretty hardcore. Yeah, I've learned a little bit about rugby when I took a trip to Ireland a few years back.
Yeah, the thing about rugby is, as far as I know, you're not allowed to jump tackle.
In rugby?
Yeah.
I never learned all the rules, so...
That helps a lot. Because at first I was really like... It's still a tough sport, don't get me wrong. But I was really wondered how they actually survived without gear. And I think you're not allowed to jump and tackle one. Because that's the thing about American football, in my opinion.
Well, sometimes they don't survive.
Yeah, I saw a couple
kids
of...
in youth rugby leagues break their necks.
I really saw a couple of
sometimes.
very, very vicious tackles in rugby when I gave the game a try a couple of times. But it's just not my cup of tea. I don't know. I love Australian football. I like American football.
There you
I
go.
still not watched.
You know what?
I still didn't watch the last Super Bowl.
I didn't either, actually.
At the time, I couldn't
Although
watch it.
it was
I
a
have
little
the
difficult to
recording
watch
back
it here.
home. I have the recording back home, and I wanted to watch it at the gym when I was doing some cardio. But at this time, I didn't have anything to play it on. So now I have my tablet, and as soon as I go to the gym again, I will watch the Super Bowl. And I probably should ignore my Twitter now for the next time because there's definitely going to be someone who's going to spoil me. So yeah.
You know what sport I like better than that, though? StarCraft.
Back to StarCraft.
Back to StarCraft.
Yeah, but we're still waiting for SuperNova. So
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think they're changing computers, aren't they?
Well,
That's
SuperNova
right.
is at a computer moving things around. The GOM Wizard is exiting his booth right now. So it looks like we might have gotten something sorted out. Hopefully we'll be figuring things out pretty soon. And again, I can't quite understand enough of that Korean. You've been studying Korean, right? Can you read what they're saying over there?
That was really a really cheap shot right now. Now I actually don't. I can't.
Oh, I didn't mean it as a cheap shot.
I can read it, but I don't know what it means.
Well, yeah, same
I can
here.
pronounce it.
Same
but
here. I can pronounce it, but I can't read it. Although I'm going, like I told you, I've said it before. I'm going on a little bit of a trip to the States when I get back. I'm gonna try and find some classes, take some regular classes. There's actually a school nearby my apartment.
Oh, there is?
Well, I don't know if they teach. It's a school. It's a language school. I'm not sure if they teach Korean or not. I might have to go somewhere else though. But anyway, that'll be something I'm looking forward to learning more of. I have been picking up some stuff lately though.
I was so proud. I told Moltreb already earlier. I went to get some food before the cast, and I thought, okay, well, this time I can actually write down what I want. So I got a pen and I got a sheet of paper, so I wrote down my order and placed it. And I wanted to have a kimbap, and I wanted to have some dumplings. And I started to read my book, and suddenly she comes with the food, and she has 2 kimbap on the plate, and I'm like, what? Why does she have 2 kimbap? And I was so sure that everything was correct, so I went to the lady and was like, excuse me, but I think that's the wrong order. And I tried to explain it to her, and they don't speak any English at all. So she gets the order, and she reads it, and suddenly she realizes that she made a mistake. It was not me. I was so relieved. And yeah, then I got a free kimbap, and they brought me the dumplings.
Score. Kimbap, by the way, for those who don't know, is a rice roll, kind of like sushi that they have here in Korea. So, very, very good stuff. I actually got some kimbap here for the break later, some lunch.
You should show it.
Show my kimbap?
Well, is it good kimbap?
Yeah, it's...
Tell people what kimbap is.
Here's my kimbap right here. You want me to open it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Show people how it looks like. People want to know about Korea, so this is definitely what you can eat each day, every day. It's awesome. It's a little bit like sushi, and it's really, really good. It's so cheap. It's unbelievable.
This is Caldor and my favorite kind of kimbap.
Chamchi kimbap.
That's correct. Yep.
So
there you go. It's a rice roll.
Kimbap, ladies and gentlemen. If you ever go to Korea, remember kimbap.
All kinds of ingredients in there. A little bit of egg, some chamchi, some tuna, some kind of ham or spam or something like that, cucumber, and some pickled radish. It's good stuff.
Yep, it's really good. It's awesome food. My favorite food, kimbap and bulgogi.
Oh, bulgogi. Oh, that is the best. That is the best.
And look who's here. Look who the cat dragged in. We have SuperNova now as well.
You know what I made the other day? I actually made a Korean, like a real Korean dish for the first time the other day. I made kimchi jjigae.
Yeah, I think I read about it. Didn't you tweet about it?
Yeah, I tweeted about that before. I tweeted a picture of it actually. Also.
I hated you for it because at that point I was so hungry and I was just sitting there and I was like, oh god! And now he has to tweet about food.
It actually turned out really well. I just kind of faked it based on a couple recipes I found online, but
you
worked
probably
out really
just
well.
found the picture somewhere on the internet and.
That's exactly what happened. All right. Game 2 is starting again for the second time. We're about to get right back into it. Ryung versus SuperNova. Game 2, take 2. And once again over here at the right with this fan screaming in the background, if you heard that.
I was actually kind of afraid that someone seriously heard her.
Players Ryung.
Yeah, they changed positions a little bit, so I think that SuperNova has a new computer now. At the left side of the map, we have, in the blue color, our player for OGS. Not quite sure if we have the introductions.
No, we're not doing them again. We know who these guys are already.
Okay, so, yep. At the right side of the map, we have Ryung for Slayers. And this is obviously a really, really weird situation now.
Yeah, because both these guys, the plan that they had for this game has been revealed. And so both players have to say, all right, well, am I going to do the same thing again just because it's what I planned? Or am I going to change things up and go with a different build? And in fact, SuperNova going racks first, barracks first, instead of gas first this time.
Yeah, so we definitely have a change in builds, and this is... sometimes it happens then that you have to go for a rematch, and then players decide that they have to stick to their original build orders, but because of the things that we had in the first game, with Ryung scouting, SuperNova playing his style, and Ryung reacting to it, it wouldn't make a lot of sense now.
Yeah, Ryung is doing, well, the same build so far, but that's not saying too much since we're not that far into the game, but he did go Barracks Refinery last game, and he's doing the same thing again this game. And he's going ahead and sending out a scout. Both players scouting each other.
I'm actually really excited to see...
Oh, but actually Ryung blocks SuperNova scout. That's interesting.
I'm really excited to see if Ryung can get into this mindset where he is able to get into this series now.
Oh, 10 hit points left on the SCV. Sorry about that. What were you saying? The mindset?
Well, yeah, I think that Ryung was in a little bit of a better position last game. It was kind of even, but still he played very well, and he was kind of the player that initiated all the attacks and all the aggression. So the game was going according to his plan more than to SuperNova's plan. But now he has to start anew, and I don't really know a lot about Ryung on a personal level, so I don't know if he's a player that tends to get nervous. But if he does, then I think he's in a little bit of a bad situation now, where SuperNova can just say, okay, let's start from a clean slate. Last game did not go perfectly well, but this time I get a second chance. So I think that this regame benefits SuperNova a little bit more than Ryung.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely does. In addition to the fact that I think, Ryung was a little bit ahead last game too, so SuperNova gets a fresh start. Of course, this is a best of 3, so even if SuperNova does come back and win this game, it'll go to a third game. That will be the tiebreaker. And look at this. This is interesting. SuperNova tries to scout, and Ryung only keeps 2 of his Marines on the bottom of his ramp. And they do kill that scouting SCV, but he actually hid part of his Marine count. He kept some of his Marines back away so that they were not seen by the SCV. So that's really interesting. He may be trying to convince SuperNova that he's going for a 1-Rax expansion when in fact he's going for
The Cloak Banshees.
Well, it looks like he might, go for Banshees, but never mind, this Reaper scouts everything.
Yeah, definitely nice scouting, and this was obviously exactly what he needed in this situation. The Reaper is actually able to pick up a couple of units. I'm impressed. How many kills does he have so far? 2?
Yeah, 2 kills total on that Reaper, not too bad, and more important than those 2 kills was the scouting information he got there. Seeing that it was not an expansion, seeing that it was in fact likely going to be Banshees. And there's the Banshee and the Cloak being upgraded right now. I'm a little bit surprised to see Ryung going for the Cloak, even though he was scouted, because, you know, he was scouted. SuperNova's got to be able to prepare for what he's doing, and in fact he is making a starport right now so he can make a Viking before those Banshees get there. I guess it kind of makes sense in a way, because now he's kind of committed to the Banshees for the moment, but without Cloak, they're going to be really easy to shut down.
It's sometimes also this stuff when people try to double fake out each other, like you're going for, okay, you scouted me, so you think I'm not going for Cloak, but guess what, I'm going for Cloak after all, and you can just overthink it a little bit sometimes, but obviously now we have Cloak for Ryung, and SuperNova is in a situation where he's slowing down the engineering bay, and this is definitely going to work in his favor, because if he places down this tower, Ryung should not be able to do a lot of damage. Yeah,
I feel like it goes better when that gets scouted, when they say, okay, well in that case, I'm just going to make a Raven and then start Viking production, and I'm going to skip the Banshees, because then your opponent has to react to the Banshees. They can't assume that you're going to not go Banshees because they scouted it, so they have to react to it. And if they react to it by getting turrets that they don't need, that kind of thing, and you don't go for the Banshees, then you've gotten ahead that way. So I feel like that might have been the better choice. He is coming in here with this Banshee, and if he can get some damage done on the Marine count or something, then it's still going to be worthwhile.
You know, the Cloak Banshee can at least now start to pick up a bunch of the SCVs, and even 2 hitting the Marines is not out of the option, so saves the Banshee at that, and this is obviously really, really important. He already forced 1 scan, there are 2 Vikings now, and if he's able to force another one, this Banshee already paid off.
And the Banshee's just barely on the edge of the turret range. He scans again, gets another couple volleys off, and the Banshee does get 1 last SCV on its way out. Only 5 kills for Ryung as far as SCVs go. One of those was a scouting SCV, so only got 4 kills with the Banshee. And Siege Tech is nearly complete for SuperNova. He's again going with the Siege Tanks. Going to play a little bit defensively. He does have an extra command center up, which was scouted by the Banshee. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to double check. Yes, it was. So he knows what's up. And Ryung has his own command center too. He's going to float that out to his expansion. Again, Ryung being aggressive and able to get his expansion up earlier as a result.
By the way, I just got a tweet about the last game by Nomi, who's a German Protoss player, and he mentioned that in the last game, you know when I was referring to the dots on the left side of the map and asked if there was a drop going on, and we thought that it would be only the Medivacs, but apparently it was actually it was only the Vikings. There were apparently 2 fully loaded Medivacs.
Oh, were there? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that.
That was definitely a huge, well, that could have done a lot of damage, so Ryung, a little bit of a drop problem.
Oh, wow.
1 lucky Banshee.
That is a lucky Banshee.
And another wasted scan.
Yeah. What happened there, by the way, is the Banshee got outside of the range of the scan, and even if the missile has been launched from the Viking, if he loses vision of the Banshee, then the missile does not land. So that's what happened there, but that's how it survived, despite the fact that it looked like the missile from the Viking had hit it.
SuperNova once again going for his mech style. He has Blue Flame now lined up, while Ryung is focusing on Bio once more. Marauder Marines, he's going for Stim, Combat Shield and +1 attack. So kind of what we saw in the last game. In total, worker kills are 6-2 in favor of Ryung, so he has a little bit of an edge over his opponent already, and is getting the 3rd orbital a little bit faster than SuperNova. Ryung is doing a good job. I really like his playstyle today. I have to say that when the game started, I thought that SuperNova might be the favorite player in this engagement, basically due to the fact that his last TVTs were really decent, especially his performance at WCG, which we talked about in the pre-show. But Ryung played very well in the first game. He played very well on dual side. The game had to be restarted, rehosted, and now we have him once again with a slight lead. I have to give it to the Slayers play. He's doing really, really well.
Yeah, Ryung is really, really good. He sometimes has a couple off days, but he is so, so solid. And yeah, here comes some Hellions pushing in. They're going to try and do some damage. Banshee says, nuh-uh.
And this is just beautiful. The positioning of the Banshee was really, really great. So he had the Banshee hovering there for a reason, and he knew perfectly well that if SuperNova decided to go in with a bunch of Hellions in order to take down Harvesters, he would maybe choose this path, the Banshee in the position to take them down, and very, very well played. I like the positioning of Ryung quite a bit.
Yeah, as do I. Really, really cool play here by Ryung. He is getting basically the same thing as last game. We've kind of almost reached the point
where we left off.
Where we left off right now. A couple minutes earlier on the game clock because there's been a little bit less aggression, a little bit less trading. But yeah, I mean, we're getting the same point. Both players at a little over 100 supply, and Ryung getting his third base. That's about the point where we dropped last game. So let's cross our fingers that we don't have the same thing happen here. And
yeah, but looking good so far, and we have both of them now with the armory. The SuperNova is finishing its third base now, while Ryung is trying to claim it, trying to put it onto one of the mineral lines in order to increase his income. And, well... is that a dropship to the bottom right? The Banshee play. Oh, but nice. Yep, Banshee play, and it spots the dropship. So this is really interesting. Double drop headed for the main base of Ryung, though. Of SuperNova, though. Sorry, my bad. And this is going to do some damage.
Yeah, although this is going to do some damage indeed. The medevacs do get taken out, but the Marines... Oh, he takes out the armory.
Nice.
Very nice kill there without any SCVs to kill. And the SCVs actually come in a little bit early. He's killing a lot of units there, but there was an attempted drop in the back of Ryung's base as well, by the way, which I didn't catch, but I believe got picked off by a few units that Ryung had there. I don't see the medevac any longer. I think it got killed off.
They lost roughly the same amount of units in total, and if we have a quick look at the production tab or at the unit counting station, we see that Ryung has a decent lead with 61 to 55 harvesters now. He's going for +2 armor and for +1 armor and +2 attack. And don't forget that Ryung was able to pick off the armory of his opponent, so that was really well done, and puts SuperNova a bit behind. SuperNova not even trying to rebuild it now. Nice though. Wow, this is a problem. He's going to lose all of those SCVs.
Wow, they're just lining up for those Hellions. Marauders slacking off, doing their job a little late, but the Banshee is countering, doing some damage of its own. And that Banshee is just wailing away at the mineral line, completely unhindered. Are you going to do something about this SuperNova? Once again, should take out that Banshee. But also Ryung attacking this new base at the top left. These players are everywhere, man.
Yeah, I really like the aggression of SuperNova that was finally able to sneak in a bunch of his Blue Flame Hellions, and now we have Ryung in a position where he can make sure that there's no third base. A little bit of an attempt to take down the siege tanks. Whoa, getting in there, taking down all of them. Brilliant play by Ryung, doing a ton of damage with just a tiny, tiny task force. I really love it. And he's pulling ahead now in supply. He has to dodge the medivacs though, but look at this double drop in the main base. Woo, picked off by the Vikings, but still he can take on his opponent's SCVs. Good job by Ryung. Yep. SuperNova is in so much trouble now.
And he lands his Vikings to fight that off. He's actually going to lose 3 Vikings. Almost 4 Vikings as a result. That was not really the best trade, but I guess he didn't really have a choice there. The alternative was just let his SCVs die. And yeah, Ryung still continuing to stop this base from starting up. Looks like it's finally going to get cleaned up, but Ryung has pulled ahead in supply by 20.
Yeah, Harvest's supply is now 68 to 48, and this is brilliant. He's saturated 3 bases, while he still makes sure that SuperNova can't use his third orbital. So that is an awesome position for Ryung to be in. This guy is looking so good. He's going for +3 attack and +2 armor now. this is just brilliant. At the same time, I don't think the SuperNova rebuilt his armory, did he? I actually don't think so.
I don't see it anywhere, no. I don't think he did.
Yeah, no upgrades for him whatsoever.
Yeah.
This is going to be a problem. This is going to be a big problem. Ryung certainly has SuperNova's number today.
Yeah, and he is going for mostly mech forces here, so not having an armory is pretty bad. He's not, of course, upgrading his Vikings either as a result. We do have Ryung at, let me check his upgrades real quick. He's at 1-2 for his bio. No upgrades yet for his tanks, though.
I really like the play of Ryung now. SuperNova, he needs to find some kind of answer to the pressure play of Ryung, but I don't think he's able to. Look at the tanks getting obliterated. He's backing off once again. He didn't lose all too many units. One of the Vikings died. One of the Medivacs. One of the Viking count is still really nice for SuperNova. That's the one thing that he has going for him right now. But that's basically already it. He's dominating the skies, he's forcing scans of Ryung, but what else can he do now? Yeah,
this is looking almost like the old school style. SuperNova is almost all Viking tank. He only has one Raven and a handful of Hellions. Handful being 4 in this case. Although I don't know how you can fit Hellions in your hand, but regardless, he is going for tons and tons of tanks. That is the real dangerous thing here, is 17 siege tanks for SuperNova. 17 is going to be hard to hold off.
30 supply advantage for Ryung still, and as we said, he is getting a ton of upgrades that will help him. Plus 1 attack now for the tanks as well. And yeah, another base even being used, so he will be on 4 bases against 3.
Yeah, Ryung going for that top base. He is going to be at... Yeah, Ryung only has 2 siege tanks, and so those are just going to be vaguely positional. Most of his stuff is in bio units, so I kind of feel like he should be adding... Oh, actually, never mind. He's producing double tanks now from 2 factories, so there you go. He is going to be adding in a lot more tanks to his mix, and a Ghost Academy going down for Ryung as he maxes out. I think we might see... There's 2 Ghost Academies. We might see some nukes, Kaldor.
Yeah, definitely. He's going for the nuke play. He's on 200 supply now, so he can definitely put a little bit of resources into nuke play, and so he should. That will help him quite a lot, especially with the force that SuperNova has now. But wow, we might not see the nukes after all.
Yeah, and see, this is the thing, is SuperNova, he has got a ton of siege tanks. He's got... Hold that thought, he's actually stimming in here near the bottom as well. He's going to take out yet more tanks with these stim marauders. And SuperNova, as I was saying, he's got a ton of siege tanks. They're unstoppable if they're unified, but they're not unified. The command center goes down, the orbital's been destroyed, he didn't lift it. And without his tanks in a unified force, Ryung is using the mobility of his army to just run around the map and kill off 3 or 4 tanks where they're just 3 or 4, because he needs to be stretched so thin to cover all these bases.
Yeah, Ryung now is basically everywhere, and he is on 180 supply against 120. The nukes that you mentioned are being built now, and he's also going for the personal cloaking for his ghosts. This will add another threat to SuperNova, and I think SuperNova is soon to crumble, because Ryung is just... He's everywhere. He's not only attacking and starting his attack like personal cloaking now, like Ghost, preparing for another level of assaults, but he's also expanding. He is just doing everything right, and well, even defending. He has a couple of units in good position to pick off the incoming Hellions. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's not a lot that SuperNova can do right now. If he is able to get into a good position with the siege tanks, he might be able to take on Ryung's army, but Ryung is making good use of his mobility.
Well, yeah, Ryung, you're right, and he's taking the bottom right base as well at the same time, but you're right, he's just playing this perfectly, using his mobility to his advantage. And here's the thing is, usually the reason why this works with this mech build versus bio is because it's on a map where you can have your army in one place. And that's kind of interesting. There's 5 SCVs in the planetary. That's strange.
They are hiding. They're hiding. It's like, no, we don't want to work now. We're a little bit afraid of Ryung's army.
Secret repair squad. Anyway, but it usually works on maps where you can have one choke point. Like, Antigua Shipyards, you can have one choke point where you can defend all 3 of your bases from the same location. But SuperNova can't defend. He's got such a long distance to defend here.
He's the top supply. 81 to 39.
Oh dear. Ryung has a ton of workers.
Well, I actually say that he should start trading.
He should start getting rid of his SCVs.
Yeah, get a couple of orbital commands and then make sure that you maxed out on army supplies.
Oh no, he shouldn't go in there while the sieged up. A drop going down in the back, though.
Oh god, Moldrop, this drop is going to hurt so much.
Yeah, it is. He's going to be able to get in here near the production facilities, and the entire army is way out in the middle of the field. He's having to run his entire army back. This is exactly what SuperNova did not want. He was trying to be aggressive.
He's losing ton of Alliance. He's losing production facilities as well, and obviously SuperNova had to go back, so now Ryung, he can buy time again. He's in a position where he can just get more. There are the orbitals, at least one of them that we talked about.
Yeah, and while SuperNova is running his entire army back into his main, Ryung attacks everywhere else, attacking north, attacking the south. Now he's got Cloak Ghosts running in to do some nuking as well on the planetary there. And remember, he can also, even if SuperNova has his tanks sieged up, he can actually even use the Ghost to force him to unsiege with the nuke. Yep. Oh, well, one Ghost went down.
Boom, boom.
There goes another one, though. It's going to be landing on the planetary to the north. He sees it, so he's going to run the SCVs away. Planetary's going to take some damage, though.
And SuperNova is just now moving across the map. He knows that he needs to attack now. The thing for SuperNova is he can't just sit tight the entire time. He knows that his opponent is getting the map control. But, well, the only thing that I really don't like about Ryung's play is, as we already mentioned, he has too many harvesters, and with all the minerals that he has banked up, getting another bunch of orbital commands and then trade mules for SCVs is definitely something that he should do. But he's looking good.
Yep, now he's been losing his medevac so often that a lot of his units are really low on health, actually, so there is a danger he could lose this army that he has. Another nuke is going off somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure where.
I heard it, but I don't know.
I think it's at the...
it's just random. Oh, that was close.
That was really close. Scary.
Kind of a defensive nuke. Now, SuperNova, this is his one chance. If he loses this army, it could be bad. But there's a counterattack going on, and what is Ryung doing? He's actually nuking his own base right now.
Yeah, he tries to, well...
He was hoping that SuperNova would move his army into his production facilities and lose it, but here's the thing, Ryung is in SuperNova's base as well.
Yep, and this base race, it has to end in Ryung's favor. There's just no way that SuperNova is coming out ahead of it.
Yeah.
Because there's so many bases for Ryung, and he has still SCVs on the map, so he can start to build his bases wherever.
Well, SuperNova is never going to build another attack unit. All of his buildings are floating or dead. He is doing some pretty good damage here, though. There's another defensive nuke. He's hoping to bait the tanks into it.
No!
His ult! Oh no, the Ghost died! Oh, that would have been so epic.
Yeah, that would have been great.
That would have been a very worthy GG.
Nonetheless, he's losing a lot of tanks here.
Yeah, a lot of those tanks are really low on health. A lot of the mech units in general are really low on health right now. But can Ryung build up enough of an army here to come back? Here's the thing. He still has 56 harvesters, so even though he's ahead by 100 supply, he's only actually ahead by 40 army supply.
Well, now it even changed a little bit. He is still doubling the army supply of his opponent because SuperNova just lost a ton of units when he was trying to get up this ramp.
Yeah, but SuperNova has 5 SCVs. 5 SCVs, and no orbitals, so you can't even drop mules in addition to that. This is starting to get disgusting. There is a nuke in one of those silos. I don't think he has a Ghost on the map. No, he's got Ghosts as well. He should use them. Use it quick before the Ghosts, before the nuke silo is destroyed.
Can even try to stim him if he wants to.
It's just starting to get a little bit crazy.
Trying to take down his opponent's tanks.
And you know what? If he actually cloaks his Ghost, SuperNova doesn't have orbitals anymore. He can't scan to kill the Ghost.
Yeah, but he has 2 Ravens.
Oh, well, there is that. Never mind. Got one of those smack yourself in the forehead moments.
Yeah,
GG! Finally coming from SuperNova as his supply dwindles below 30. And well played by Ryung. Very nicely done.
Yeah, actually really nice games.
Yeah,
impressive.
And the thing is SuperNova, his chance to make that work was to sit there and build up off those 3 bases and get a maxed army and then push out. But Ryung never let him.
Yeah.
He never let him. He said, you know what, I'm going to constantly trade. I'm going to have 80 harvesters so I can remake tons of units. So if I lose a squad of Marauders to kill 4 or 5 tanks, it doesn't matter, and you're never going to get out of your base with a large enough army. He still moved out with a pretty big army, but the trade was too much.
Very, very cool performance by Ryung indeed. I mean, especially after he had to restart the game, this was obviously something that he was not quite happy with it. Sela was one of the coaches who looked really, really unhappy with the decision. But in the end, Ryung was able to pull it off. He wins 2-0 against SuperNova. A little bit disappointing for the OGS player, obviously. But right now, after a very nice TBT, we have a winner. We have Ryung. And we're heading into a Terran versus Protoss, if I'm not mistaken. This should be Tasia against Squirtle.
I think so.
Sorry for putting you on the spot there, but
that's okay.
I think it's Tasia against Squirtle.
Got it right here. I'm pretty sure you're correct about that. Yes, it is. For some reason, I thought it might have been the third match, but third match is Virus versus Jakji. We're gonna have another TVT later. Yeah. But yeah, Squirtle versus Tasia is actually gonna be really good. I'm actually really looking forward to that. Normally, I would say that Tasia has the distinct advantage there. I think he still has a slight advantage, but Squirtle's been playing really, really well lately. We're going to take a 5-minute break, though, before we watch that match, so don't go too far. We'll be right back.